In today's video, let's talk about the string patterns, how they affect tennis elbow. As you might know, I have tennis elbow right now, and I'm like USTA 3.5 player. And this as good as it can get. It will tell you whether it hurts, whether it doesn't hurt. Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is fitness tennis. So when you have more of a dense string pattern, they're going to hurt your arm more because my tennis elbow says so. And when you have a sort of like open string pattern like this, it's much softer. And let's talk about the physics of it too. When you have, not just my arm, but when you have a tighter string pattern, they have more friction between the strings so that the snapback takes more effort, which means you're going to have less slapback with a dense string. When you have tennis elbow, you need all the powers that the racket and the strings can give you, so you can hit the ball back without too much effort. So that's where it can be a little bit, dependent on your size, the way you hit, what kind of fast ball, heavy ball you're hitting against. That's why it's not like one size fits all. That's what I'm learning right now. And for those who have been like giving me your own tips, like commenting what you found out about what works for you, it may not be the same, but there's basic principle. I think the string pattern is one of them. Basic principle. The denser, more it requires to slap back, or is this snap back? Let me show you this. And then going back to where it was, elasticity. And when the ball hits, so in slow-mo, a couple of these main strings are gonna get grabbed, get pushed in, and then pulled, and then this spring effect will give you that spin a lot of times. And it goes with the power too. The bigger gap, more is going to bounce back. The ball is going to push back more, so you're going to feel a little bit more like the pocketing feel. So it's easier to spin. So keep that in mind. Like I said, this racket is 16 by 16. 16 by 16. It's pretty rare to find rackets like this. And this one is 18 by 20. This is old Djokovic's racket. So when you hear more control-oriented racket like this one, it's going to hurt your tennis elbow more. So I guess the bottom line is you don't want to go for the player's racket, because professional players are just different animals. They're just different. So find a racket that works for you. So this one, 16 by 16, as I mentioned, it was really good. It's really soft on my arm. And when it's too heavy, it can hurt too, because it's going to require you to swing with more effort. But when it's too light, it's going to hurt you too, because the ball has certain mass that's going to shock the light racket, and the shock is going to go straight to you. That's what I experienced with Clash 108 with the dead string. And I think the dead string has a lot to do with it too. So for example, in my opinion, different poly strings have more lively poly string and more dead poly strings. For example, 16 gauge Solinco Soft is a super dead string. I think possibly that string gave me tennis elbow. I was copying my Club Pro Mitch's string because Mitch is so good. I want to hit like him, and I got that string. I won some matches, like 4 matches in a row, and then I lost 4 matches in a row too. But in that process, I think I hurt my arm more, because those strings are very dead, which means it requires a lot more effort. Every part of my body, and arm and leg and toes and everything. And that I basically overextended beyond my ability because I didn't grow up playing tennis. For example, my ligament is not as strong as Mitch's ligament. You can see his ligament like popping out like a Terminator. And I don't have that. So you can see different size of muscle, different size of strength, speed, power, agility, you name it. The way he sees the ball, just different. So going back to the string gauge, don't go to 16. If you have tennis elbow, go to 18. That's my advice. Because more like 18 strings are going to have more lively feel. It's gonna snap back. It's gonna bounce back. It's gonna pocket the ball a lot more. But then, so talking about the racket size, you don't want to go to a big racket that is super light. You can have a bigger racket. In my opinion, it shouldn't go below like 280 grams because it goes lower than that. That means unless you have like super low string tension, the racket's going to get shaken by the ball speed. So if you're playing like 3-0, women's 3-0, maybe even like 2-5 guys at my club, the way the speed of the ball that's coming to you and the way you hit, if it's less than 200 and let's say 80 gram, maybe 270 gram, and you have wrong setup strings, it's gonna hurt your arm. I can guarantee it because the ball has its own weight, and at certain speed, it's gonna add that weight. And when you have super light, that's really bad. So I think anywhere between 280 and maybe 320 gram is sort of like a sweet spot. And so this is kind of like the string pattern where the physics itself is not really, it shouldn't go outside of that range, in my opinion. So talking about the string density, I'm kind of going all over the board here, but so I want to cover the racket weight, string gauge, string tension. One last thing is that if a racket manufacturer out there who will be willing to make like 14 by 14, that's going to be really super arm friendly for tennis elbow players. I know it. And a lot of you guys talked about the Pro Kennex. I need to figure out a way to check those out. Maybe I need to do some demo program at like a Tennis Warehouse or something, because I don't want to buy a racket that doesn't work for me and get stuck with it. So I need to find the balance between the playability and tennis elbow. I know I want a lot, right? Just because I already found the racket 16 by 16, about 320. This racket seems to work for me right now. So I haven't played last 3 days, but yeah, I'll have to check out the Pro Kennex at some point. Last week, I played like 3 days in a row, and I've been resting for the last 3 days or 4 now. And it's been kind of bothering in a sense that in the morning it gets so stiff. It could be my age too, guys. But like some days, like straightening my arm can be kind of challenging. So I'm kind of resting right now. I'm not hitting any balls, but I may have to go back to Thursday night. Today is Tuesday, so we'll see. But right now it feels good. I was doing some like 10-pound weight a little bit and holding down like this to kind of strengthen my other parts of my arm. I did a little bit of kettlebell swing motion too, which then like works the shoulder, legs, quad, hip, and every part of your body. So I think that could be a good one. I'll have to show you another day. But yeah, light kettlebell could help strengthening every part of your arm and everything. So it could actually be good. So you need to strengthen, you need to rest, you need to find the right racket. I'm not a believer of taking those pain medications because I know how bad it is to your liver. So don't get addicted to those drugs, guys, because then I've seen some people who do that all the time. They end up not be able to play afterwards because there's certain limit those drugs will kind of have, I forget the word of it, you know, the body gets used to it and the medicine effect doesn't kick in. There's a medical term for it, but I'm not a medicine guy. So, well, I'll leave you with my favorite snacks. So this is, I just made it. I've been thinking about eating while I was making a video. This is frozen blueberries from Costco and yogurt. And you add a little bit of like maple syrup. It becomes super delicious, ice creamy like dessert. So this is my favorite dessert. Anyways, thanks for watching. And for those who've been like putting a lot of your thoughts, like some folks like the other day or yesterday, like put like 9 key points about what I found out about. I mean, those things are really helpful right now because it helps me to understand where am I looking? Am I doing the right thing? Am I strengthening? Am I resting? And you know, all those things really help. So I really appreciate, you know, for those who are liking and commenting and all that. So I hope you guys have a good evening or good day. Stay fit, have fun playing tennis, and I'll see you on the next video.